Listen, imagine reaching the NBA and then being banned for life for gambling. Yeah, a league investigation has found that former Toronto Raptor Jontay Porter placed at least 13 bets on NBA games through someone else's account. Now, in one of those wagers, he actually bet on the Raptors to lose.
Yep.
What's the consequence out of all of this? His career has been cut short. Lifetime ban. Are we? Oh, we like that. Okay.
Yeah. Right?
So, Andrea, are we surprised at all about this?
I'm shocked. I don't know about you guys, but my first thought was, what an idiot. Like, you think about all the players around the world. There are thousands of young men trying to get into the NBA, and only like 1.2 actually make it. You're part of that 1.2. You're making over $400,000 a year, and you fumble the ball for some $20,000 bet? I really am trying to understand this. And you know what? I don't think that the ban is harsh. I think it's not harsh enough, right? Now hear me out. Because what he did was so egregious, and I think, you know what, if he can't play in the NBA, that's, people think that's the worst penalty. But there are a lot of professional leagues around the world where he can make a very good living. And if I were Adam Silver, I'd be on the phone to those other leagues and say, do not let this guy in. We have to make an example out of him. Because we gotta let these guys know you can't do this in the NBA and then fly over to Australia or Europe and continue to make hundreds of thousands of dollars doing something that you love. You lost that right the minute you decided that betting was more important than your career.
Yeah.
Jontay's a big fan.
I agree. I totally agree. And I think, the saddest thing about it is he came off of this big injury to get back into the league, to play for the Raptors in the first place, and he threw it all away for this.
For what? For $20,000?
No, it's dark.
And here's the best part. The following year, the Raptors were going to sign him for $2 million.
Which makes me wonder, is this like an addiction he has or something? Or like...
I think that's where I went with this, because we all know that this kind of mainstream gambling, it became legal when the Supreme Court ruled it was okay in 2018. And at the time, a lot of the players' unions got together and they were like really worried that this was going to become mainstream and legal, because they actually got worried for the players, saying this is now going to kind of make some players maybe targets. Can you imagine if there's this organized ring of bookies and they're putting pressure on families or a player, and they're like, you better throw this game, we got a ton of money on this game. It kind of potentially opened up players to get pressure from these outside forces. And that's what the players' unions were saying in 2018. But I'm curious, if you knew that this was going to become legal, wouldn't you think that the same pressure that us regular degulars feel, who like gambling, maybe have an addiction problem, what makes a player different and immune to a gambling addiction, like compared to the rest of us?
Well,
so my only question is, did the unions they might have, but I don't know. Do they have an education program for these players to now say, especially young players? Jontay's only 24.
24.
Right?
Yeah. Old enough.
Are we educating them to say, there may be a temptation as well?
Let me just clear that. It's in your contract, it's in your NBA contract that you are not allowed to participate in sports
So
betting.
a lot of rules that people break.
Here's the deal, but that doesn't mean that you get to break them because you want to break
I'm not
the rules.
excusing him, by the way. I'm not excusing him. That was wrong, and he's now has to pay the consequence.
There is a crisis going on in universities and college campuses across the United States. Over 75% of students have admitted in the last year to participating in some kind of form of online gambling, and it is an issue, but I still think that Jontay, you work so hard. Like, I hear what you're saying. Like, maybe he succumbed to the pressures of gambling. But think about how hard you worked to get there. All the coaches, all the sacrifices.
Wait a minute.
Why isn't that of top of mind before you gamble?
I agree with everything you're saying, but I don't know why we assume. Do you guys assume he's the only player in the history of the sport who's done this? Like, he got caught,
No,
right?
he got caught. But, I think the league has some responsibility here, too.
Absolutely.
Because, all the shows that are talking about this now, they're like, oh, yeah, and welcome to the FanDuel halftime show, sponsored by Gamble-a-thon. It's like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah,
really.
agreed.
Hey there, what did you think? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you can find more on everything from food and fashion to pop culture and current events. See you soon.